I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. Let's talk about Survivor Season 42, Episode 5. And this was an interesting vote. I still am not clear how this all went down.
Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. But first, if you are new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And you can support us on Patreon if you like at patreon.com/Nerdtainment.
Join us.
Yes.
If you would like. Hello, everyone in the chat. We're a little later than usual.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Thank you for waiting for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, this episode is fun and got a little tricky.
Yeah, and what I'm loving about this season is the evenness of it, right? Like now with this vote, 4-4-4 with these three tribes, like I don't remember the last time that we've seen three tribes this balanced in terms of like who's going home. Usually there's just that one tribe that sucks. Yes. And then there has to be a swap to even things out and all of that. But like so fun to be heading into the like merge, not merge with no swap having happened so far.
Yes, and not one team that's just like beaten down with tribals.
Yeah.
One team thinking like life is good. We don't ever go to tribal. None of that. It's so even. I really have enjoyed that part of it. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna start with the top of this episode, coming back from tribal from Ika. We got some night. Yep. Mm-hmm. And Romeo is like, Roxbury wasn't gonna change his vote, but we knew Swathi had to go.
She had to go. And Roxroy's a little bit like, oh, because once Romeo explains it to him, right? Like, you know, Swathi said that I was her number one. And then she also said that Tori was her number one. And everybody was Swathi's number one. So like, Roxroy, we really had to get her out. But like, we kind of know how you are. And like, you stick to the plan. Yeah. And so we couldn't tell you. And he was a little bit like, well, okay.
You know what? Y'all are right. Yeah.
I guess I got to work on my social game a little bit.
I'm missing some stuff here at camp. Mm-hmm. Whoopsie on that. And I just really loved seeing the night vision on Tori while like Drea's like 4 strong. Well, don't worry about it. And
yeah. Like, right. Yeah. And even while like, does Roxroy say something too that she's like rolling her eyes at, or do we just get the confessional from her where she's like,
no.
I'm not strong with Roxroy. Yeah. Like, I am not down. He wrote my name down, and I will not forget that.
Yeah, so. He's like, sorry about that, Tori, and she's like, okay,
yeah.
Well.
That's what you have to love about that night vision stuff. It's
I
like
know.
We are seeing their faces so clearly, but like they don't see that, you know? So it's so fun. Like having someone like Tori, I was actually surprised, not to derail our recap of this episode, but I was surprised at the number of people in our comments last week who were like, Tori's a villain, Tori's a villain, Tori's a villain. I'm really not getting that.
I'm not either. I was actually surprised the opposite because we still had plenty of comments being like, no, love her.
Yeah, okay, good.
She's doing it. So it was fairly balanced.
Because I'm really enjoying this kind of a character on Survivor, someone who's this like facially expressive, especially to us and like in the confessionals and all that.
Television.
Yeah, exactly. Entertain me.
Do it. Yeah. Yes. I need all of the face. Okay, let's bump over to Taku.
Let's do it. Yeah. This is Taku. Truly.
Taku.
Yeah.
We'll talking new. Marianne and Lindsay got a lot of strong air sign vibes going on over here.
I'm like, they should have a YouTube channel, right? Where they like the two of them like back and forth,
Mario Kart.
Why were they talking about Mario Kart?
I have no idea, but they both love it. So they got into the topic and Jonathan is over it. But honestly, it was like 7 a.m. Marianne says at some point it's 7 a.m. And I'm like, yeah, that's too early.
I just have a feeling that Marianne talks up until the second she falls asleep and then she wakes up talking.
Yes.
So
I don't do mornings. Sorry.
Yeah. I feel like you and Jonathan are on the same page. Yeah. Like Jonathan is like, everyone, we're going to go on a silent retreat.
Yes.
For just 10 minutes.
Until noon. Can we not talk until noon?
Yeah.
You know, they don't have the equivalent of like, I need my coffee first. But like, I still got to wake up and like get into my day.
Yes, totally.
Just like tone it down. Then we're going to have an incident. Like it's just a silly incident, but the nerves are fried. They're not meshing.
Yeah.
So we just kind of see a silly, like, two sides of she's annoying and apparently pride is a deadly sin.
I don't know what that was about, but
Okay.
it is just sort of this montage of like Jonathan being fed up with Marianne, which is like coming off of last episode. Let's remember where Jonathan was like, we are so tight, we are indestructible, us four, Taku forever and all this stuff. And Marianne being like, we are, but I wish he wouldn't say that. And now we're just starting to see some of these cracks here.
Yes.
But it's this silly thing where he's like chopping and she's like, I'm sitting here. And he's like, you saw me chopping here. And she's like, but you saw me sitting here. And then he goes off with Lindsay. And then I did not understand what that pride is.
I don't know. I guess I need to do research on my deadly sins, but
the relevance of them.
Something. Okay, now over to Vati. We've got Hai and Lydia reconnecting. They're stronger than ever after their,
of course, dramatic
incident. Yeah, they're telling us here that Chanel is the one that is harder to read,
which I believe.
Yes, because she is good.
Yeah, and Daniel's like decidedly bad at this, right? Like he's just
apparently pretty bad.
He just like word vomits, and so it's not even like Daniel's always telling the truth and we can trust him, but it's just kind of always, it's like, we've got Daniel's number. We don't really need to worry about him so much. Chanel isn't one who's like under the radar strategic and we need to be careful with her.
I agree. I think you do. You need to keep an eye on her because she goes.
Yeah.
But Daniel's going to try to get some fish for the tribe, guys. Head on out to the ocean.
Well, because no one else is, right? Like this tribe, apparently nobody's trying to gather food.
Which is not a good sign if Daniel's the one we're relying on.
No, truly. So he's like, well, I guess I'll go out and do it. And then we get this great scene where, I mean, we, the viewers, are watching and we're like, why is this Daniel the one who's like doing this physical labor? We all remember his shoulder hanging out of his body, right? And then on the beach, both these two duos are just like shouting across to each other, like, can you believe this? I mean, this is crazy.
Are you seeing this? This person who won't do a challenge with us, are you seeing this?
Yeah.
It was actually like a good bonding moment, I think, for the tribe. But it is funny because, like, I mean, I guess if he actually speared a fish, he'd have to use his shoulder.
Yeah.
But he doesn't actually spear any fish.
Right.
So I don't know, but I started to think, dang, what a good play. There are some people who can pop their shoulders in and out.
I hate it.
But what if that was you? And so on the first day of Survivor, you publicly do it in front of everyone. Now your target down.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, he's not a threat.
Yeah.
What if you could do that?
Yeah, that is a good.
I started to think, like, did Daniel like plan this?
Oh my God. Like he's just like
right?
when he falls on the ground, he's like, I didn't quite get it. Let me just like pop it out of there real quick.
I was like, that's a good play. If that was it probably wasn't.
But they're kind of, I mean, I feel like this ultimately is coming from like, none of us are really into Daniel so much. Like it's one of those things where they're just like trying to find a reason to grab onto to sort of like be suspicious of someone. So I think that's sort of what we're seeing here. But it is also like frustration. Okay, he's like really not pulling his weight in the challenges where we need him. And now here he is swimming. Like how real is this that he's so injured,
Good question, y'all. All right, back to Ika. They are going to go on a little idol hunt. Our duo, Romeo and Drea. They're a tight little duo, and I got to say, I like them.
I'm into it.
Yep.
Romeo's my winner pick, which is like a blind pick from nothing. But I like the two of them together a lot.
Except that you like dug his vibe.
I did.
It's not from nothing, but it's a pre.
I said, great.
What is this guy? Give me this one.
Yes, right. So I'm really enjoying the two of them together, and they are on this idol hunt. Drea is the one who ends up finding it, but like Romeo's right nearby, and she like barely reads the word beware and rips open that idol and is like give it to me.
Yeah, I will take it. Of course, they both discover like, oh, you lost your vote. Oh, you have sayings. Oh, wait a minute. Marianne's been talking about this gosh darn bunny in a mailbox for months now.
And let's remember, like, Drea has not heard the other phrase because Mike has like opted not to say it so far. But this is exciting because I believe it was last week when Marianne was like, how many times do I have to frickin' say this thing? Nobody else is like looking for the idol. What's going on?
Are they even looking? Well, yes, they finally found it and they've pieced it together. But then we're going to just pop on over to Vati real quick to check in on Mike's feelings about all of this.
Oh, yes.
Where he's like, ain't saying the phrase, y'all.
I'm not doing it.
I don't want no one to know I got it.
I don't care about this. Like, I think he's probably sensing that, a merge is coming relatively soon. He's like looking at the numbers here and he's like, I don't need anybody knowing my stuff in this way. Meanwhile, like, it's the same thing to me largely as last season, where everybody on Mike's tribe knows that he has this thing and they know his phrase. Everybody on Marianne's tribe knows that she has the idol and this is her phrase. It's really just on Ika where Romeo and Drea are the only two on that tribe now.
Yeah, so there's what, two people who don't know about the phrases?
Yeah, right.
That's silly.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be this big thing where you're going to say these silly phrases and then only you three are going to know that the idol's been activated. But it's like, this is one of those examples, I think, of a twist. It's like really fun to watch still to see these phrases, but it's a little bit of a flop in terms of like in game, people not realizing that there's an idol,
The producers had to pull the idol out and like prop it up on the way. They're like, can you please find this before
can
merch,
you find
please?
it?
Jeez. Right. So Mike doesn't want anyone to know his biz, and I appreciate that. That's a good strategy. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
But hold on. So we go to immunity.
Yeah.
Jeff's going to open it up with Marianne.
Marianne, let's hear from you.
Let's hear it.
I would like to hear where your head is. And she's like, Jeff, I'm still on the rabbit.
What? It's always about the rabbit.
I just can't stop thinking about the bunny.
In the mailbox.
Yeah.
It's just really that.
Yeah.
Again, still, it's that.
It is still the bunny.
And Drea plays it cool. She's like, she doesn't hop in immediately. Jeff has to sort of ask around. Jeff has to ask around, how's everyone else doing? And she's like, you know what? Losing my mind.
Yeah.
Potatoes have skin.
Yeah.
I get skin. What am I, a potato?
I did wonder. She's like, Jeff, I was looking at a potato and I'm like, where are we harvesting potatoes?
Did we have a reward with potatoes?
I don't recall anybody getting a potato.
I just it's like a coconut. And it's just like a potato.
I saw this coconut and it reminded me of a potato, and the potato has skin and I have skin. Am I a potato coconut? Like, it's a stretch, but she's a little, she's I will say, slicker than Mike in this moment.
Exactly. Luckily, they don't open it up to a Q&A where she gets grilled about where she got the potato. But Mike and a Marianne both are like, she said a phrase. She said, I heard it.
Yeah.
I said a phrase. She said a phrase. And Mike, he can't control himself. You start to see him moving around. He's like looking around. He said he was going to not say anything, but now
he just can't help himself. I'm the third. If I say it now, it's going to work.
Jeff has moved on. He's like talking about the challenge. He's like, great. Mike, one more thing.
One more.
Jeff. I would like to say something. And then what he says makes no sense because he's like, something about soccer. I get emotional, circle around, back to soccer. I'm playing it. And then I feel it's something. And then he's like, and so to summarize, I said this soccer emotions.
So they're crying. Yeah, it reminded me of Nasir from last season, where like he was a little ESL and like it's already a tricky phrase to integrate organically into conversation, but like the clunkiness of this was just
him
try again.
0 stars. I give him 0 points.
He just wasn't ready, right? Like he
was
planning on never saying it, and so he hadn't put the thought in of like, how could I bring this up naturally? And it was a joy to watch, really.
It was. So subtle. Okay. All right. Let's climb a net. Let's untangle some ropes with a key and let's get some
number of
chop down some coconuts, and then let's eventually slingshot to knock down some targets. But Ika is going to take a pretty large lead here.
Yeah.
They zoom through and are slingshotting while the other two tribes are still trying to unlock the gosh darn key.
Yeah, it was the puzzle here that sort of trips things up for some people because like we're used to Taku.
It's like a rope puzzle though. It's like a
it's right. And it's Omer, right? On Taku who's struggling and normally he's so good at the puzzles.
Yeah.
But we're used to seeing this thing from Taku where it's like Jonathan beats them through whatever physical element of the challenge there is. And then, there's a fairly strong puzzle contingent on Taku who gets us the win. But Ika is the one who just like gets through this one a little bit easier. Fun to not, I like the mixing here of not just seeing Taku dominate.
Yeah, it was great to have the little puzzle in the middle, kind of mix it up, cause some complications and see how it works out. But Drea is going to knock down her first shot. And I think at this point, Vati, I think, is maybe starting to get the key at this point, and Omar is just at a loss. Lindsay's trying to help him.
Yeah.
Jonathan is thinking about quitting. It's just
Jonathan's
not looking good.
Can I just rip the ropes with my bare hands and release the key?
He's willing to do it. Is that allowed? Is what he's thinking. But Roxroy is going to be able to knock down the second target, and Ika's going to win pretty quickly. But we eventually do get an exciting moment because once Omar does unlock that key, Jonathan is on a tear.
Yeah.
Chopping, done. Coconuts, done. Swing, he hits that first target like immediately. It's all very quick. And we get this great moment where they both have one target to hit left.
Yeah.
And it's like, who's going to get it?
Who's going to get it? It's Jonathan. Coming through for his tribe again. So this sends Vati to tribal. And this is that moment that I mentioned at the top of this video where like now it's going to be even 4-4-4. Vati had like a little bit of an advantage, extra person. And now we're going to even it out. So before we do that though.
Get that extra. I didn't even talk about the extra person who sat out.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Shocking. No surprise, right? So now we've got to send people on the journey. Ika is our winning tribe. And so they send Lydia on the journey from Vati. And then Roxroy is they're like, let's get Roxroy out of camp. We do not need him back talking to us.
They were like, it's okay if Roxroy leaves.
Yeah.
Even though they're like, we know he might get an extra vote. We're going to let it happen.
It's okay.
We're going to let him go.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously, we got to talk to Vati because they got to go to tribal and they got to figure out what they're doing. But Lydia is not there, right? She's on this journey.
Yeah.
So Daniel and Chanel are going to set it up here.
It's one of us.
They both feel it. They would like to be able to have time to talk to everybody. Yeah. And the tribe is like, yeah, of course.
Of course. So we see Daniel talking with Hai. And, Daniel was like doing a lot of bargaining with Hai at the last tribal council. And so they're both like, Chanel, oh boy, Chanel, does she need to go? Yes, she needs to go yesterday. Oh my God.
Hai's just playing along. Yep. Oh, of course. Yeah. Can't trust her. Gotta go. Sure. Then Chanel and Mike. I mean, similar.
Yeah.
Daniel's gotta go.
Gotta be Daniel.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, it's really just like Chanel and Daniel going after each other and everyone else being like,
Yes.
Yes, I hear you.
Love it. But what we realize, obviously, is we do see Mike sort of deferring. I'm with you, Hai and Lydia. I'm with you guys. Loyal to you. You decide, though.
Right.
Look, we're getting one of the two out. Great.
Right.
Whatever you decide. And so we're sort of seeing that it is Hai and Lydia. Like, hello, shocker. They went from...
I know.
Started from the bottom. Now we're
here. Exactly.
As long as Lydia has her vote.
That's the thing. That's the narrative. Is she going to keep her vote on the island?
Yes.
So then we cut to the island.
And honestly, I was like, oh no, Lydia, what are you going to do? She played it very smart. And honestly, it makes sense because she was in the tribal where everyone lost their vote.
Yeah.
And Hai was like, Jeff, where are the votes?
Yeah, right.
She was there for that. So she is going to protect her vote. But before they get to that.
Great little backstory package on her.
Oh, she did have a great little. Yes, we hear about her body image issues. Yeah. And yes, that would be so hard to go on Survivor.
Oh my goodness.
Knowing that you're just in your skivvies.
Oh, Lord. And like I'm sure there's so much that we don't see on the show. Like, let's remember. Their clothes are falling off in the ocean. They're like...
You can't care.
It's just your body's out there in a way that is like even beyond what we see on the show. So, she's someone who struggles with that. And she's like, but I've come a long way so far. And like, I'm kind of figuring out how to be okay with like, this is who I am, So that's like an important storyline to have.
Yeah, and I hope that she still feels that way, and I hope that no one on the internet is being rude.
I know.
Because people love to comment about appearance.
Truly.
And it's not
so annoying. No.
We don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
But strategically, Lydia and Roxroy are giving them nothing.
They do not trust each other. Lydia's like, I just met this man. Like, I'm not giving him any info.
I don't know him.
And you know, Roxroy is just like,
what would she say? Did I write it down? She's like, so are you guys tight? And he's like, what is tight?
What does that mean?
Wait, are we doing definitions?
Yeah.
Okay, that is the worst answer ever.
Yep.
But anyway, they're gonna go about their merry way, not connected or any closer.
Yeah.
And they're gonna both end up protecting their vote.
Yeah, they sort of like, before they go to the wheel, they both sort of made comments about like, oh, we want to protect our tribe. And I'm like, that's not what this is about. Like, you're gonna get a vote or you're not. Like, this is, well, don't make it about protecting your tribe. You know what I mean? So I don't really understand what that's all about. But ultimately, they do both protect, which I think Roxroy was more the one where I was not sure what he would do.
Right.
Because I feel like he should have gone into that knowing that Lydia would definitely protect her vote.
Yeah, it sounded like he was saying that when he was like, I know she's worried, or it sounded like she was worried.
Yeah.
So I thought he could have risked it, but I just don't think he's that type of person. Like, I don't know that he's going to risk ever in this game. So, and she wisely protected her vote, which is what her tribe needed for her to have a vote.
So cut to Lydia coming back to the island. This, like, I love every time they come back because it's this mad dash to fill them in on what's been happening.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, of course, Lydia wants information, but I just can't imagine everything that's flying at her from every direction and her trying to suss out, like, who do I trust at this point? Like, all these conversations have been happening behind my back.
Just High.
Yeah.
That's it. And luckily, the two of them are basically in control here. So Chanel's going to be like, I'm with you guys. Daniel's going to kiss some butt. Like, he comes on thick.
Yeah.
He is like kissing ours big time.
Yes, of course.
But it's like High's finally going to get to talk to her. And they don't give us a lot of information other than we hear that they can split the votes. Yeah. Because there's 3 of them. They can afford to split the vote.
Yeah.
And it's up to them. But we're not really privy to who we're leaning towards, Chanel or Daniel.
And it's just this, like, moment that we get from High at the end of it is like, tonight is monumental because the merge is coming. And so it's sort of this idea of, we need to get rid of the person that is causing problems within the tribe because we need to go into this merge 4 strong. Like, again, kind of what we heard from Ika at the top of the episode, like 4 strong. Vati is having similar thoughts here because everything is so even going into this, potential merge.
Right. And we hear a little bit of that at Tribal of like, no one's got numbers. We just have to have trust and loyalty.
Oh, trust and loyalty.
That was brought up. Mike is like, we're all a team.
We're not just a team. We are family. We are
till I die.
Ride or dies. Like,
but will to literally die.
Love these people until I'm in the ground.
I had to look up his sign as soon as he said that, because then when Daniel's like, he means it, I was like, oh, what's his chart? He's a Libra, so he 100% means that. He loves a partner. These people will be his partner until he's dead. That's true.
Yes. And then, Daniel's like, listen, Jeff, like, this guy, he means it. Like, I really think he thinks we're going to be friends forever. And Chanel's like, Mike, you're getting played by this one. Okay. So, like, don't fall into this trap of like, Daniel's your BFF here. Like, we're still playing Survivor. And Daniel's like, no, like, I wasn't playing the game there. What are you talking about, Chanel?
No. Also, High's like, we're all lying. And Lydia's like, yes, we need trust. So, we're all over the map here. Ultimately, they're like, got to make game decisions. Yeah. Sure. Great.
But I love, like, because Jeff keeps saying, like, so ultimately, Chanel, does this mean that you're going to vote out the most, untrustworthy person? And she's like, well, Jeff, based on what you've heard so far in this tribal, I would say that you could infer from what people are saying that the person that goes home, we consider that, like, it's the least committal response. Yes. But she's like, I guess you could say that this person is least trustworthy.
I am not going to reveal a thing to you. but I'm going to answer your question in a long coming back to, okay, yes.
That's very funny.
All right, let's go vote. We don't really see anything. We don't see anyone play a shot in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get to votes.
Yes, the one thing I wanted to say about this whole thing was like that we get this sort of final thought from Mike where he's like, whoever this decision tonight is only game. Mm-hmm. This is not personal. The person that I'm sending home, I'm going to be friends with them forever, blah, blah, blah. As soon as he's saying that, I would be thinking, I'm keeping Mike till jury, you know, because he will not be a bitter juror. Like that's kind of what I'm taking from that sentiment from Mike in this moment. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know if anybody else, you know, on the tribe was picking up on that vibe, but I was like, that's someone that you want on the jury.
Well, he does
they're like,
give
no
off
hard feelings. It's just game.
Well, we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
But he does give off loyalty vibes for sure.
True.
So if he's your guy, I'm on jury.
Yeah. So then we go to the votes.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's talk through this because this was fun.
It was. How many revotes have we had this season so far?
Oh my God,
it feels
right?
like there have been a lot of ties.
I love every week. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm into it.
First off is Chanel. Well, we know that.
Yeah.
Next one's Daniel. Okay, we know that. Then a Chanel.
And Chanel's like,
I'm like, oh no, she was okay with one vote.
But the second vote?
That face was like, who did
because
this?
it was like one more vote and I'm out of here.
This?
So
yeah. But then the next vote is Daniel.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, we do know that they were splitting. So I guess they did that. So the next one, who's it going to be? Daniel or Chanel? Who's it going to be? Next one is
Mike.
What?
I was like, where did that come from?
Mike? Did we cross? What happened?
Yeah. And I thought like I was going into this again, you know, like we look at the clock sometimes when you're like, when are we going to votes? When are we going to tribal? All this stuff. So when I saw like, 5 minutes left and we're getting to the votes, this is going to be super straightforward and simple. So that was like another like blindside for me where I was like, oh my God, another tie where we now have to revote. But there's, you know, it's not a moment for additional discussion. It's just like Chanel and Daniel, you are now out of the vote, and Mike, Hai, and Lydia are now going to vote.
You're going to re-vote,
yeah.
But it's only between Chanel and Daniel.
Yeah.
That's it. No one else you can vote for. We have a tie. Who's it going to be?
Yeah.
The re-vote is all Daniel, or at least the two we see are Daniel.
Yeah, I would assume all three.
Great. Daniel's gone. I don't mean great. Good. Sorry, Daniel.
Sorry.
But you kind of blew up your game. So
well, and Daniel was like one. I'm curious if this was some sort of a strategy or he thought it was a strategy to like paint himself as not a target. Mm-hmm. But he kept saying like, I'm never going to win this game. I don't know how to play server. I have no idea what I'm doing. And it was like, well, if you were trying to paint yourself as like someone that no one needs to pay attention to, that didn't work.
He was. Yeah, I think that literally was his strategy of like, don't look at me. I'm not a threat or a target.
Yeah.
But he blew up his game, and then he did not understand how he blew up his game.
Yeah.
Therefore, he did not really correct properly because he didn't quite get it, right? Yeah. So there was just no going back, Daniel, sorry. Yeah. That's just how the game works. So I'm not surprised that they turned on him and he left. Let's talk about this vote,
Let's talk about it.
Because this is what's interesting. So it turns out Hai and Lydia are the two votes for Daniel. And then they obviously told Mike to vote for Chanel as a backup, but obviously Daniel is going to vote for Chanel as well. So that is our tie for Daniel Chanel. Chanel is the one who voted for Mike. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about why. Because guess what, David? If Chanel thinks Daniel's a target, but Daniel plays his shot in the dark and is actually saved by some miracle of the survivor gods, then odds are he is the one vote writing her name down, and she'd be gone, right? She would have been voted out.
Wait. Who's the one vote writing down Chanel?
Daniel.
But Daniel played a shot in the dark, so he has no vote.
He has no vote.
So she must have thought. It's just interesting because Lydia and Hai voted Daniel. So... Okay. She must have thought that Mike was going to vote for her.
whether it's Daniel's vote or someone else accidentally votes for her, she doesn't want to accidentally go. But even if they all put their votes on Daniel, he plays his shot in the dark, doesn't get a vote.
Yeah.
She still has written an extra person's name down.
Yeah.
Mike goes, no big deal. She doesn't go, she's safe. Mike goes. Okay. So end of the day, she's saying, I want Mike to be plan B.
Yeah.
I don't want to be plan B.
Yep. And I think that ultimately I think this means she didn't trust Mike specifically here. And she assumed if she, I feel like she must have known that Hai and Lydia were going to vote Daniel.
Was hoping.
And that if she voted for Mike and she thought that Mike was going to vote for her and that would end at a tie, that she could then count on Lydia and Hai to vote out Mike, or at least in a revote.
At least pitch it and try.
Yeah.
It's better than just going.
Yeah.
At least give it a shot. I mean, I love that she was trying to think ahead and figure out how not to be a casualty of Daniel accidentally being saved.
Right.
So that's great. So it turns out it didn't really matter.
Yeah. But what's confusing to me, and I'm really interested to see this post-tribal conversation back at camp here, because Mike turned to Chanel after, as Daniel's on his way out, he turns to her and he says, I kept my promise. Someone voted for me. So I want to know, what did he promise her? Did he promise her that he was going to vote for Daniel or something?
They were never going to write each other's names down?
He's saying to her, someone voted for me, and she's the one who voted for him.
Oh my God. I thought when they read his name, I mean, we're all like, Mike.
Yeah.
But he did the same thing. He's like, huh? And he turns to her and she was like,
yeah.
I bought it completely. I was like, well, it must have been Daniel then.
Yeah.
I don't know. I believed her acting, but no, she was just acting. And she was like, look, let's throw Mike's name in the mix just in case Daniel is safe. And I think that was really, really smart, even though she didn't need to do it.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
And it's an interesting thing, too, to think about. I wonder if Mike having an idol played into her logic there. If there has to be a backup vote out and it needs to be, maybe we can just get Mike out and he can leave with his idol in his pocket. Kind of thing. I don't know.
If he was worried, he could have played that idol and then it wouldn't have worked at all. But yeah, get the guy out with the idol. He just activated the idol. Get him out.
Yeah.
So I can see why she was like, well, if I'm going to throw someone's name out there, might as well be Mike, even though they used to work together.
Yeah.
I think that ship has sailed.
It'll be interesting. We are going into this merge, not quite merge, almost merge kind of a situation here. And I think all of these tribes have cracks. Even though it's 4-4-4, people are going to be talking and strategizing outside of, because these fours are not working.
That's what's so exciting. It's even. No one has numbers and they all have cracks.
Yeah.
That's so perfectly beautiful. Okay. Now the next thing we have to talk about though is next week.
Okay.
2-hour episode.
Yep.
Figure that out in your schedule.
Yeah.
2-hour episode. And we know, because we watched Survivor 41, that it is the merge, not quite a merge, right? He says, drop your buffs.
Yeah.
And they're like, merge. And he's like, hold that thought.
Yeah.
So somebody is going to get to smash an hourglass.
Yeah.
I don't care if you loved it or hate it. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be the same.
That's what's happening.
Doing it again.
So if I remember correctly, you guys chime in. They did separate into 2 tribes, right? And they said whichever tribe wins has merged. They went and had a feast.
Yes, only half of them get a feast.
Yes.
That's right.
The other tribe, what happened? Did they just go and sit and sulk?
And sent one person to the island?
And one person got to go.
Yeah.
But that wasn't Erica an odd man out? Or no, it was rocks. They pulled rocks.
That's right.
She got that stupid white rock.
Uh-huh.
So somebody's going to pull a white rock and just get sent off. So it's going to be totally random.
Yeah.
I don't know how to prepare my head for this.
I know.
And then uneven teams.
Yeah. I mean, whatever happens, I have to imagine the hourglass is going to get broken again. It's one of those things where why wouldn't you change the fate so that you and the other people who didn't get a feast are safe. Like,
yeah. How do you not smash
I don't know
this?
how you don't.
Now,
smash
last season it was very obvious because Erica was on the outs.
Yeah.
But if it's someone not on the outs, I don't know. Wait, yes, thank you, Vincent. That was about what I was about to ask. I was like, no, 2 people drew the rocks, sat out, and then they picked Nasir
to join them.
Just like leaving that like stab into Erica.
Interesting.
That she wasn't chosen. That's what's so exciting.
Yeah.
Or annoying if you don't like this.
Yeah,
twist.
right.
But the person feels left out or
because wasn't it
included.
They picked Nasir to go on the feast?
Yes, to be part of the winning tribe. They get to pick someone to be part of the winning tribe. They think they've merged. They're now feasting, and that other person is left out all by themselves on an island. Oh my
goodness!
And they get to smash an hourglass. Oh my God! All our faves are in trouble.
Yeah.
But also, I don't care. It's so exciting.
I know this is going to be great. I'm so excited.
What if someone doesn't smash it? What if they're like, you know what? No, the people I'm aligned with got to feast.
Maybe.
It's possible.
It is. We'll see. We'll have to see how the tribes break down, really.
And they're like, hey, you guys need to now protect me because I didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know, but whether you love it or hate it, here we are.
Thank you, the CAC16, for that super sticker.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, everyone in the chat, for hanging out with us. Hanging in.
Yes. And if you are joining us later, let us know in the comments what you think about Daniel going home. And really, I'm looking forward. What do you think about this merge situation? Yep. Who's going to be on that island breaking the hourglass? Are they going to break it or not? You know, what alliances do you see lasting once we now get to this merge feast? Like, I'm so excited to dig into the second half of the game.
I know. Can you imagine how this merge is going to go?
No.
I really can't because of all the cracks.
I know.
Okay, you guys. Thank you so much. Oh, we'll be here tomorrow night for Big Brother Canada after the eviction tomorrow. And then otherwise we'll be back next week for this 2-hour merge, not merge.
Yes, we'll see you guys then.
Okay, bye.
Bye.